Imagine this. You're 30,000 feet above the Atlantic Ocean. Outside, night stretches endlessly, black, silent, infinite. Inside, the cabin glows faintly with the soft hum of overhead lights. Most passengers are asleep, their faces calm, unaware of the chaos that's about to begin. The flight attendants move quietly between aisles, their smiles gentle, their voices hushed. The air smells faintly of coffee and recycled air. Somewhere near the back, a baby whimpers. Somewhere near the front, the captain checks his gauges. Everything feels routine, perfectly ordinary. Until the intercom crackles. A trembling voice cuts through the silence. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. If there are any combat pilots on board, please come forward immediately. For a moment, time freezes. Then confusion erupts like a spark in dry grass. Heads turn. Passengers whisper. A mother clutches her child closer. Someone laughs nervously, thinking it's a joke. It isn't. In row 10, a young woman slowly opens her eyes. Her name, Elena Carter. Age 29, former United States Air Force fighter pilot. 2 years ago, she left the service after a mission that went horribly wrong. Since then, she's lived quietly, drifting between cities, blending into crowds. She dresses like anyone else. Jeans, hoodie, hair tied back. Just another face on another flight. But she's not ordinary. She once flew F-16s through enemy fire, surviving dogfights that no simulator could ever reproduce. She's seen comrades vanish in flame. She's carried the kind of silence that never leaves you. Tonight, she's just a passenger. Or at least, she was supposed to be. She had boarded this flight seeking peace, escaping memories that still stalk her dreams. A book rests half-read on her lap. Headphones dangle loosely around her neck. Her eyes are heavy from a week without sleep. But when the captain's desperate words echo through the cabin, something inside her snaps awake. Combat pilots. Why would a commercial airliner ever need one? Elena sits still for a moment, heart pounding. She tries to ignore it. She tries to stay invisible. But instincts, the ones drilled into her bones, won't let her rest. She unbuckles her seatbelt slowly. Around her, passengers murmur, fear rippling through the cabin. She hears fragments. What's happening? Is this real? Did he just say pilot? Memories flash. The mission. The explosion. The squadron she never came home with. She swore she would never fly again. Never hold a stick. Never face the sky. But when you've once fought to save lives, you don't ignore a call for help. Elena stands. Her movements are calm but deliberate. As she walks toward the cockpit, people turn to watch. Whispers follow her down the aisle. Who is she? Is she really a pilot? God, I hope so. She says nothing, just walks. Every step feels heavier than the last. When she reaches the cockpit door, a flight attendant stares at her wide-eyed. Ma'am, you can't. Elena's voice is quiet, firm. The captain called for a pilot. The attendant hesitates, then knocks on the door. Seconds later, the lock clicks open. The sight inside steals Elena's breath. The cockpit is chaos. Red warning lights flash across the panels. The captain is drenched in sweat, his face ghost pale. Beside him, the co-pilot slumps unconscious, his oxygen mask hanging loose. The plane shakes violently. A low alarm howls. Outside, lightning splits the sky, the storm roaring like something alive. The captain looks up, startled. Who are you? Elena Carter, she says quickly. Former Air Force. Call sign Viper. What's the situation? He swallows hard. We've lost autopilot. My co-pilot's out cold. Controls are sluggish. Hydraulics damaged. If I go down, too. He doesn't finish. He doesn't need to. Elena slides into the empty seat, hands brushing the controls like greeting an old friend. Her fingers tremble, not from fear, but from memory. She glances at the gauges, scanning quickly. The jet's fighting the storm, pitching violently with every gust. The engines groan, the altitude flickers. I can fly this, she says, voice low but certain. The captain blinks. You've handled something this big before. No, she replies, gripping the yoke. But I've handled worse. Outside, the storm claws at the aircraft. Thunder roars. The fuselage creaks. In the cabin, oxygen masks drop as passengers scream. Panic spreads. Elena's heartbeat steadies. Her breathing slows. This chaos is strangely familiar. She has flown through flak and fire, through skies lit with death. Compared to that, this storm is just another enemy. Left engine fluctuating, she mutters. Hydraulics at 50%, the captain warns. Then we fight like a crippled bird, she answers, tightening her grip. The plane dives suddenly, alarms shrieking. Elena yanks the nose up, feeling the resistance in every muscle. The controls fight her, but she fights harder. For the passengers, minutes stretch into eternity. For Elena, time becomes rhythm, input, response, correction. She feels the jet, every vibration, every tremor, like it's part of her own body. Altitude stable, she says. For now. The captain exhales shakily. You just saved us from a stall. Elena doesn't reply. She can't. Her mind is locked in. In the cabin, people cling to each other. A man whispers prayers under his breath. A child cries softly, and a little girl looks toward the cockpit door and whispers, "Mom, is she an angel?" Her mother nods through tears. "Yes, sweetheart, I think she is." Outside, the storm refuses to die. Rain hammers the wings. Fuel levels drop dangerously low. Elena's arms ache, her vision blurs from strain. But she keeps going, because stopping isn't an option. Because 300 lives depend on her not giving up. Fuel's running out, the captain says. Nearest airport's over 100 miles. Elena squints through the rain-smeared glass. Then, far below, she spots faint lights, a strip of hope glowing through the storm. There, she says, a coastal base. Looks like a runway. She grabs the radio. Delta 473 to Coastal Air Base. Former USAF pilot at controls. Request emergency landing. Static. Then a voice answers, crackling through the interference. Copy that, Viper. You're clear to land. We've got you. The captain's hands shake as he adjusts flaps. Crosswinds are brutal. You sure you can? Elena cuts him off. We're not dying today. The plane begins its descent. Crosswinds slam the fuselage, trying to shove it off course. Alarms scream. Lightning flashes again. The world outside a whirl of silver and black. Elena's voice is calm, focused. Steady. Come on. Hold together. The runway looms closer. The passengers pray louder. Some clutch hands, some whisper names of loved ones. Others can't even speak. The wheels touch down hard. Bounce. Then slam again. Sparks burst beneath the fuselage. The jet skids, roaring down the slick asphalt. Elena yells, reverse thrust. The engines scream. For a moment, it feels like the world will rip apart, and then, suddenly, silence. They've stopped. The plane is safe. 300 lives are still breathing. For a few seconds, no one moves. Then a sound rises. Soft at first, then swelling. Applause, cheers, disbelief. The captain turns to her, eyes wet. You just saved every soul on this aircraft. Elena stares at the rain streaking down the windshield. Her hands are trembling. Her throat tightens. No, she whispers. They saved me. Because for years, she's carried a guilt heavier than gravity, guilt for those she couldn't save. Every night, she's seen their faces in her dreams. Every morning, she's woken up wishing she hadn't. But tonight, she found her purpose again. Not in war, but in saving strangers who'll never know her story. When the cabin door opens, the passengers erupt in applause. Some cry, some whisper her name though they've never heard it before. Elena walks out slowly, her steps unsure. People stand to their feet. Hands reach for her. A little girl runs up and throws her arms around Elena's leg. Thank you, Angel. Elena kneels, smiling through tears. You're welcome, sweetheart. In that moment, the guilt, the pain, the endless noise in her mind, quiets. For the first time in years, she feels peace. Not the silence of escape, but the calm that comes when you've done what you were born to do. No medals, no headlines, just a plane full of lives continuing because she chose to stand up when no one else could. The storm outside fades into dawn. The first light spills across the horizon, painting the clouds gold. Elena steps down the stairway, the cool wind touching her face. She looks back once, at the aircraft, at the people waving from the windows, and smiles faintly. Sometimes heroes don't wear uniforms. Sometimes they hide in plain sight, trying to forget what they were. Until the world reminds them who they still are. Row 10 will never be forgotten. Because that's where an angel was sleeping, waiting for the call. If this story moved you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Because courage doesn't always come from medals or ranks. Sometimes, it comes from the quiet decision to rise when fear tells you to stay seated. Like, comment your thoughts below, and don't forget to subscribe to Classified Courage, where every story reminds us that bravery often hides in the most ordinary hearts.